Hey y'all, welcome. Welcome to my office, to my class, to my home, to my table. Grab a drink, come join me. I wanted to let y'all know that I am going to be beginning a series of videos related to systemic racism. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to focus specifically on definitions of terms, terminology, concepts, ideas, so that we are on the same page, that we understand the language in order to further understand what our own opinions and arguments are. But then more importantly, I think it's also to be able to have conversations with others. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I've been a little nervous. I've been a little nervous to do this. So let me tell you a little bit on the one hand. On the one hand, I am an educator. So with everything going on in the world, I have been sort of wondering, how can I act? How can I make a difference? How can I have the conversation in my communities? And education kept coming up. However, I didn't want to center this on whiteness. I wanted to amplify the voices of race scholars, of activists, of my Black and brown friends, family, sisters and brothers. Like, that's who I believe, deservedly so, we should be going to as experts. All right. So I will tell y'all right now, I am not a race scholar, right? My expertise is language. I am an English composition literature professor. That's what I have been doing for 19 years. My focus, again, is on the language and the importance of having words, definitions, ideas, terms that we understand communally so that we can have these conversations. So that's where I'm going to be coming from. I have been a little nervous it's very different teaching in a classroom than knowing that people my age and older will be watching this, that friends and family will be watching this and talking about race. But I think that nervousness is exactly why I need to be doing this, right? So there's that. I am nervous too. I'm just going to talk to y'all about all the reasons that I'm nervous, and then we're going to get past that to move on to what we're going to be discussing. I also don't want to be seen as a white savior in this realm. Well, we can talk about that term later on, if that's the case. But here's the thing. It's probably going to happen. Because for my whole life, if you haven't noticed, I'm passing white, right? So I'm passing white. My experience in this life is white-centered. And so no matter how far and how many times I try to break that apart and unlearn it, and depending on the terminology you want to use, it's going to be there. So there's that. So what has actually pushed me to do this is I've had students reach out from the classroom because, yes, I do talk about race and language in the classroom. They are related. We'll get there, I promise. Say, like, thank me for the content, because now not only do they know their own voices, but they can have conversations. And some of them have said it would be really amazing to have this content be available for more people, right? So we can continue this conversation. I've also had many white friends come to me asking for definitions or wanting to have the conversation, but they're scared to, okay? Because we don't know how. We have not been taught, right? It's not normal in the society to be taught about racism. We don't practice conversations about racism at the dinner table necessarily, especially I'm speaking to white folk here, right? Like, this is just not something that we do. So of course we're not going to be well versed in it. Of course we're not going to be comfortable. And I hope that this becomes the space where we can begin that journey. Okay. Now, the biggest thing that has held me back from doing this, again, is me wanting to amplify Black and brown voices. But what I've also been seeing, especially with Black women, is them saying, I'm tired. I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Exhausted. That's another term that they've been using, exhausted. And I was listening to Professor Crunk yesterday. Professor Crunk, best name ever, otherwise known as Brittany Cooper. And she said, save us some work. Basically, she's saying, white people, go talk to your white people, educate each other, and save us some work. Because who have we been DMing to learn from? It's taken their time and energy, mental health, physical health. Let's stop doing that. So I reached out to a Black female colleague of mine yesterday and told her I've been thinking about this. And she said, Ciel, use your privilege. Use your privilege to have this conversation. Because yes, tired. And I do have a privilege in this section. So let's just say it right here, right? So who am I? I am a biracial, yes, my mom is Filipina. I'm a biracial, white, heterosexual, cisgendered woman. I'm neurotypical. I'm able-bodied. Socioeconomically, I come from an upper middle class, so I have a lot of privileges. What does that mean? It means that for some of y'all, it may be easier, safer for y'all to learn from me than to learn from somebody who doesn't look like me, which is fine at this point, because I'm glad to have y'all in the classroom, right? At this point, we gotta just learn. We're gonna learn from each other. But I want y'all to also question why that might be, okay? So use that privilege. Now, here's what had me just start this today. And I had to hold myself accountable by posting on social that I was going to do this thing. In that same message where she was telling me that she was tired, she wrote this. She wrote, I'm tired of explaining why I should exist. Now, we've seen those in movies and we've read them. But when your friend, yes, like your work wife, she's my work wife, when she tells me that she's explaining why she needs her right to breathe on a daily basis, hell yes, I'm going to use my privilege. If I can save her some work, I'm all in. So, I'm all in, y'all. We're going to do this. This is how I am. If this makes you uncomfortable, this is not the place to be. Yes, y'all get all of me. You get me in these classrooms. That's what we do. I do want to read a section from the syllabus that I give to students, because I think it does pertain to the conversations here. Because if you haven't noticed already, I don't shy away from the hard conversations. I believe that the hard conversations are what make us. That actually the hard conversations is what brings us together in a shared humanity, which at this point I'm actually very hopeful for. I'm so hopeful. So there's still work to be done. So we're going to do the work. But here's what I tell my students, and now I'm telling y'all, related to hard conversations. I don't expect to do this perfectly. Y'all, we're not going to do this perfectly. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall on our booty. If you like to be perfect, it's going to be tough having these things. Why? Because we have not practiced them before. We're not perfect at things that we have never done before. And if you are, we don't like you. In any case, I don't expect us to do these hard conversations perfectly. I know that we will mess up. We're going to get awkward, feel uncomfortable. We're going to laugh. We're going to get nervous. We're going to question ourselves and our beliefs. But this is part of deep thinking. This is part of being human. This is the human experience. What I do expect is respect for others and for ourselves, for us to be gracious with one another and ourselves, and to continue the discussion. All right, y'all. That's what I got. If that's something that's of interest to you, please stay tuned. Videos will be coming. We're going to start from the foundation. We're going to talk about prejudice, different than discrimination, different than racism. We're going to talk about the various definitions of racism. We're going to talk about, the one that I keep getting is white fragility and white privilege. So if there are other terms that you have had questions about and you have been nervous to ask somebody, or you didn't want to feel like you didn't know, you felt like you might get it wrong, we're going to talk about terminology. What do you call? What's people of color versus black people versus African American? let's talk about that, right? So we will be going over all that. If you have terms, you can always message me. You can put them in the comments. If you have questions that you want to go over, I'm happy to do that. Y'all, I am here for you. Again, use me because of my skin color related to race and conversations. I am not exhausted. Not yet. No. So please, I'm telling you, come to me because I do want to take some of this burden off of activists, writers, authors, educators in the field who are experts. They've got big things going on for them, and educating on terminology that they have known since they were 12. I'm here for that. Let's just make that happen.